Hi, good morning. Oh no, wait. The time is 10:34 p.m. I don't know how you say this. Good night. No, I think I'm mistaken there too. Um, my point is people need to preserve what is true, regardless of getting in between all good morning, good night, this or that. Preserve what is true. Preserving what is true is what is and will work. People must be the answers. This is what needs to occur. Everything else is an excuse, is a lie excuse, is here, is there, is a misunderstanding of what is true, and therefore the truth cannot be manifested because people are going in the contrary and the opposite of what is true. So how can that be? How can I, being me who I am, preserve what is true? Can I? Being lies, being less than, and fooling myself and saying, oh yeah, you know what? I'm just going to claim that I preserve true and I don't preserve what is true. Can I do that? That's what some people are doing. And they're expecting different results. They're not understanding that everything is supposed to change from the highest, most absolute change for everything to change accordingly to the most truth. Everything is supposed to change to the most truth. Some people don't understand. They're like, nothing will stop us unless we're stopped. There's some groups that are mixed like that, possibly. That unless they're stopped, nothing will stop them. They don't care about anything, possibly. I did understand and find out that that was what was true also. However, with all this information, with all this truth, with all this understanding, how can the person that otherwise won't stop will stop because the person simply knows the truth? In other words, something or someone claiming that something or someone can't change and understanding the truth, those people do change, in other words. I don't know what some perception is about people. However, I think they've got the story twisted. I'm not anything that they think I am. Anything that people think I am, I'm not anything you think I am. That's false. Of what you think I am. Everything is a lie. Everything. The only thing that's true is me realistically true. Me, the word truth resonates with me the most. Is who I am. Everything else is a lie. Yet some people cheatingly, wrong math, manipulationly, not understanding all the elements, not understanding the effects, not understanding the influences, have made something or someone seem less than of what the truth is. I don't buy any nonsense. None. Zero. All is false. They got the story twisted. Long time ago, people have been trying to, from day one till today, you know what they've been trying to do to me? Trying to make me less than of who I am, to try to say, oh, the person is this, is this, is this. I'm nothing what you think I am. Nothing. Zero. Unless something is true, everything else is false. That's a correct true measurement. If you understand the story correctly, if you don't, I suggest you do because that is what the truth. Everything else is false. Makes zero sense, in other words. So, from my understanding, that this equals that a lot of groups, a lot of people, what they did is they create some type of nonsense, and anything that stuck, they went with. Virus. Virus of what occurred. There's numerous people that they can't just leave. They can't just be treated like that and then expect different results from them. Heck no. No. That's abnormal what occurred. So this equals numerous groups, numerous people were lied to, and were given impossible scenarios. And also made seem though something is possible, disregarding numerous feelings and elements, and paving way for nonsense to occur, to then claim and say, oh, look, the person had this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity, and the person felt this, or this. In other words, nonsenses were trying to pay way for a bogus deal on me and on something or someone else. That was a bogus deal, paving way for nonsense to occur. Being wrong and then ultimately blaming the person. Viruses. That's what virus groups are doing. Causing issues on people, then ultimately trying to blame people. Viruses. All must be known and stopped and prevented and reverted because I know that's exactly what is occurring. While everybody else is fussing and panicking in various realities, don't. Why? Because something is already done. The fact that I mentioned this, the fact that immediately people know what I'm talking about. You can't do what you did to me and then expect to look at me and frown on me and make me seem that I'm wrong. No. What occurred on me and what occurred on anybody that if this did occur on anything or anyone, you know what needs to happen? People need to definitely do their part and make people get out of their predicaments and all the wrong experiences they've been experiencing. Why? Because that is what is true. That is what makes sense. Everything else is made to blind people. Nonsense virus groups. They try and distract people, make people docile, and their target is women or something. All of that also has to be known too. They're problems. They're making seem though something is out of control when something is realistically controlled. Is something out of control being controlled? I talk about that. I mentioned that. I bring that to awareness. Just because something is controlled doesn't equal that something is out of control. Therefore, equals that people attain knowledge, understand, a lot of groups have been fooling me. They're making me believe that I'm wrong, and they're making me believe that somebody else is supposedly wrong. So then I can supposedly need them? I don't need them. Heck no. I'm not wrong. I haven't been wrong. Everything I said is true and correct. The reflections that people receive any form of nonsense is them. They don't like themselves, it seems though. Those specific groups and specific people. All about everybody doing their portion. Everybody doing their portion, everything works correctly. If you're not doing your portion, that's okay. At least don't add on to the problem, you know? Don't anything anybody's doing, that's okay. Just don't create problems. That's all you have to understand. Abused by a priest in California? What the heck is that about? You know? What is that about in terms of what I just read? All of that nonsense should be stopped and prevented. You know why people did this? People lacked knowledge, put people outside of the planet, did a bunch of playouts. People didn't like one another, didn't react, didn't resonate with one another. People gave up. They got deterred. They're like, hey, you know, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. These people are stupid. I'll just do this. I'll just do this. And then what people did is they went against what was true. There's a belief game going on. Everything that's wrong is supposed to be reverted. Everything. This is how everything is going to work. Because look, I think this is all. Well, now I think this is also a correct true measurement too. Everything being reverted, everything working in terms of what I'm saying and what people that understand are saying for everything to work correctly is what is true. At the same time, I think people want me to do something without me healing and getting out of predicaments, and this is the wrong measurement. Everything is supposed to make sense. When I sleep naturally, I wake up naturally, and everything is flowing and everything is going and everything persists to persist that particular style. That's how you know something is the correct measurement of how everything should be. I don't want people to be deterred. There has been numerous, numerous correct and true measurements occurring the entire time. That's out of the question. While numerous correct measurements have been occurring and were occurring, what people did is various other groups, unaware of one or the other, they caused me and somebody else unseen issues where I was not able to heal correctly and get out of my predicaments correctly to fulfill the need of what the need was supposed to be fulfilled. So, of course, I'm unable to do what I need to do. Somebody else is unable to do what they need to do, and something is in a backward direction. This is the problem. This is what needs to be understood and solved correctly. People were too busy doing tests, they forgot reality. That's what everything goes down to. It seems though people were too busy trying to prove something, while every single time I'm correct and true everything I'm saying, and all people are doing is literally applying the answers and everything's working out perfectly. While another group is trying to make people believe and duped that something is false, that something isn't working correctly, while something is. So there's a belief game going on with that. What people need to do is attain knowledge and true knowledge and understand that in order to practice Kundalini, in order to practice chakra, in order to practice all of this, you have to know a little bit of everything of knowledge within and outside of yourself. You have to. Otherwise, if you practice chakra work and everything else, you're jumping from here and there, and somebody knows you're jumping here and there, and they're studying you, they're spying on you or something, and they're trying to manipulate or take advantage of you. This is the virus of what is occurring. This is what needs to be stopped. Women are more than ever in various elements of reality targets to a wide variety of diversions. Diversions are occurring, women are targets. And I say women in particular is because particularly women are targets. They're brainwashed to see a skewed reality, a skewed version of reality, and be manipulated, be taken advantage of. Be aware of every single form of power where that's the powers are stemming from, because somebody may be getting a vision, maybe getting a thought to do something that they otherwise would not be doing, or impressions of playouts and how they're affected that they otherwise would not be doing. So this equals a lot of people are simply one or the other is unaware of one or the other in various elements. This is leaving room for some type of issue to occur. Yes, I'm hearing OMG in terms of validations throughout the day. So, what is the point that I'm trying to make? The point that I'm trying to make is the fact that you're supposed to learn everything in terms of being the change, learning everything and being the change. Then, my information plus to everything and everyone of how I believe this is everything generally. From most truth to least truth, leaders groups to public, where people are attaining knowledge of generally everything that I speak of in reference to, and are then incorporating the knowledge and then doing what they need to do. So the first priority of anything or anyone is to attain knowledge from baby to adolescence to teenage is supposed to attain knowledge, true knowledge. Anybody that's starting anywhere, understand that the first step is to attain true knowledge. Refrain from any form of junk food, nonsense movies, nonsense cartoons, nonsense music, nonsense TV shows. Refrain from any form of anything that doesn't resonate with the person. And what resonates with the person? Everything true, everything good. Everything true and everything good is what resonates with the person. Everything else is false. People say, oh, well, that resonates with me, this resonates with me, that resonates with me. Sure, however, it may resonate with you very, very little versus something that is very, very something less than something resonates with you than something more than of what resonates with you. Correction. Because why? Because the person may be dysfunctional within themselves. So if the person is dysfunctional within themselves, they're also going to be dysfunctional outside themselves and they're going to think something resonates with them versus something that does resonate with them. Remember, people are good people generally. Nonsense, wrong groups, they have a weird interpretation of reality. And having a weird interpretation of reality, they then portray their wrong interpretation out on something as someone else. Remember, I know that everybody's aware of me from everything, every flow that I've ever understood to be true. I'm not fake. For long, I'm not fake. I'm not dirty. No one can be fake and no one can be dirty on me. With that said, I am going to be going around and checking around and verifying a lot of things because I think some groups are playing. I think they're disregarding a wide variety of elements and they're playing dirty games on me and trying to make me or something or someone else less than of who we are. So some people then created a wide variety of different scenarios, possibly, to combat that. You see where this is going? What the heck are you guys doing, man? You know? What the heck are you guys doing? I do value myself very well. I just happen to understand the problem of the situation here in life. So, of course, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that everything is corrected, restored, and then through time, my knowledge is infinite. I can always make money. That's not an issue. The issue is the fact that something has to be done immediately, just like a long time ago, something was done immediately, arrived in my life. I'm like, before I do this, before I do this, before I do that, there's going to be a lot of time pass. So what I started doing, I started typing. I started typing and I started recording myself, even though I was feeling weird and I was waiting for all this. So then I can start doing something. And then I realized this is not going away. I'm gonna do something, and while I do something, a lot of people then took a lot of credit for what I was doing while I was doing something. That's the issue. Why? Because something is supposed to be genuine. And I'm going to mention this again. Why? Because the entire point is for something to be genuine of what the truth is, so the truth can be preserved. How can the truth be preserved if people are doing something false, less than what is true? In other words, how can the truth be preserved? That's what the problem is. So what do people need to do? Understand the phenomena, be the change, attain true knowledge, learn yourself before beginning to learn about others. And there's a lot of lies going around. There's a lot of lies going around with people playing politics with God. I think that's another problem of what is occurring. People are playing a game with God, and I think people have done this a long time now. And I've been mentioning this too. You can't play politics with God. Anybody that knows my information or knows anybody's information, if you're not true, you shouldn't be knowing my information. That's how some people are trying to win people over. I think they're giving me and somebody else some type of a nonsense name, and even making people believe a bunch of lies, and then the people being the lies and no one receiving anything what they're supposed to be receiving. I think what needs to be done, if you ask me, I'm supposed to know people. People are supposed to know me, and we're supposed to be speaking to one another and making sense of everything. That's another of how that will work. Remember, there's a lot of undermining, deterring going on, and problems occurring that have nothing to do with what the truth is. Somebody saying my first name and last name around here. What people need to do is refrain. People are too deceived. Everything I ever say goes back to basic principles. Anything I say always goes back to basic principles. Or what people are not preserving. That's all. So I think what people need to do is understand the basic principles and understand that that's what the answer is. While I did realize that everybody's changing and everybody's being correct and true, what I did also realize is how numerous people, numerous groups, what they're doing is they want everybody else to change, however, they're not changing. And they want me or something or someone else to have a merit, not making sense over them that do make sense. The truth is what's supposed to have the merit over anything or anyone, not anything less than what is true. That's what some people are trying to divert people from, hiding possibly. So the most important, most significant is for people to realistically be true and being true, they're able to understand everything correctly. You see, look, I'm looking at an image now, okay? I'm looking at an image that I shouldn't be seeing. Why? Because I haven't even been my true self yet. People look at people's and animals' lives, and they're not looking something from a perception from being true. They're looking something from all over the place. And so, should I be seeing this? No, no, I shouldn't be seeing this. Why? Because I'm not even 100% all elements of being true within myself, and I'm seeing something that I shouldn't even know. Because why? Because everything is supposed to be steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then later in like life, I would say like 5 years from today, 3 years, 4 years from today, if I'm true, my true self, and I understand myself very well, and somebody else, then this would make sense for me to know about, in terms of knowing the insides of a cow. This doesn't make sense at this moment of time. people know too much. You know too much of something that is giving you an imagination and a thought, and something else that doesn't realistically matter too much about reality. Why? Because you're not supposed to, how many people have the power to see something like this? Very few. Yet those very few are showing something that, of course, I personally don't agree with just because I have different viewpoints, different standards, and different types of understanding. Can this be viewed later when people are true and they understand from steps to step three to step four to step five? Yes, they can. This will make sense later. At this moment of time, it makes me feel weird, you know? A lot of things are occurring in various elements of reality, and not everything is what supposed people are supposed to be seeing. Not everything's supposed to be people thinking. Not everything people are supposed to be speaking about, talking about. Not anything people are supposed to be doing. This is what everything goes to. What is humanity supposed to be visioning? What is humanity supposed to be thinking? What is humanity supposed to be perceiving? What are we supposed to be understanding? You know? To be honest with you, not anything less than what is true. Every form of wrongdoing you can imagine, you have to all revert. Revert everything. Everything. False. Everything else is made to fail. That is generally what is true. Oh yeah. And my situation is far different from a wide variety of other groups' situation in terms of if we have the same situation. Unless people are doing something similar to what I'm doing every single time and minute and day, may vary. Everything is significant. Everything matters. The matrix matters. Everything matters, including the wrong math. Everything matters. There's a wide variety of different interpretations and understandings from people to people, where they may not be the most correct of anything that they're doing or saying. Everything is supposed to change and be true. And then once everything is true, then everything changes thereof of everything being true. That's what's correct. Wow. A 72 million-year-old dinosaur embryo has been discovered. We have dinosaurs here. All birds, all reptiles are dinosaurs, including ourselves. We're dinosaurs. We're just a different title and a different label. However, no, dinosaurs are a little bit different than us. That's just to have a sense of belonging. So, what do people need to do other than be true? Truth isn't about being honest, it's just about changing. And of course, refrain from doing something wrong. So, I used to smoke cigarettes. I changed. I changed from smoking cigarettes. I know what occurs. Wow. It's so sad. So many people give different people different playouts, and giving people different playouts, if the person is weak minded or however they may have been affected, may not always be weak minded, maybe how they're affected, tend to make wrong choices, wrong decisions. That's abnormal of what is occurring. So, you know what I think is also going on? You know what the problem was? While from a long time ago, I'm mentioning something and I'm talking, you know what some people are doing? They think what I'm doing, in terms of my mind there, my mind there, my mind there, is wrong. They're wrong. I know what I'm doing, my mind being here, my mind being there, my mind being everywhere. I'm doing what's good for me. I'm recollecting my thoughts. I'm understanding, and I don't need to be rushed. Get the heck out of my reality, in other words. This was the virus problem the entire time. People rushing me. I still beat them in their own stupid game. They try to rush me and paint a picture, possibly, of me being told what to say. Possibly. Has to be known. They were unable to beat me. Yet got a bunch of groups and a bunch of people to go around and make a bunch of choices and decisions and have weird effects the entire time. That's abnormal. I know what some people are also doing too. They're trying to attain all the information they can. Nothing will work. Remember, even if you have the answers, even if you have all the puzzles together, nothing will work correctly unless something is true. So it doesn't really bother me. What matters is what is true. Nothing bothers me. To be honest with you, nothing bothers me. What does bother me And don't misunderstand what I'm saying either. Of course, things bother me. However, what doesn't bother me is something that I'm in control of myself, that I don't allow anything to bother me. You know, there's thousands and millions and billions and trillions of things. If I were to sit there and say, "Oh, well, this is bothering me. This is not bothering me. This is bothering me. This," we'll go on and on and on. However, that's significant too. Bother. Is anything supposed to bother anything or anyone? I don't think so. I think that's lies. I don't think anything's supposed to bother anything or anyone. If something is bothering something or someone, should that something that is bothering something or someone change so something will be less botherative and non-botherative at all? Of course. That's abnormal of what we're accustomed to. That's abnormal. We're not supposed to be bothered. Sure, life happens, and of course, people, put up with a little bit of this, a little bit of that. People striving to be true and no mistakes. I understand, life happens. However, that being generally true, people specifically knew that and added on more problems during people's course of life for things to bother them when nothing is supposed to be bothering them. Somebody knew that and through the midst made numerous wrong choices and wrong decisions to people in their lives. And that was a bothering of what occurred to their life more than something was supposed to be. That happened to me too. And also, some people only try to keep me in this like good reality of wherever I went. Did they miss the point that I'm also in tune of a recollection of life of what is occurring, and I'm not only talking about my reality, however, somebody else's reality too, of everything that I'm mentioning. Do people understand that what I'm mentioning has to do with what the planet and what all life forms have been mentioning for hundreds and thousands of years? Well, now you do, regardless of what anybody says. I'm a sense type of a person. I'm truth. I make sense. I don't force anything or anyone to listen to me. If you do, you do. If you don't, I suggest you do. I suggest you understand what's occurring. And you will make correct choices and decisions. Am I perfect? Far from perfect. Can I be perfect? With me understanding my mistakes and fixing myself through the flow of time? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That's what I need to do. I don't even see my mistakes because I'm just like, people need to say something. I think there was this game played on me or something, or somebody else, of course, through the midst of everything else. that people wanted me to make choices and decisions without everything abundantly known, while some type of wrong math was attached to a wide variety of choices and decisions that I would be making. Is that abundantly known? Are people ever going to say, hey, yeah, this is abundantly known, you can do this, or this? Well, that is what is needed realistically in various elements of reality, specifically, generally, depending on what. No. No. Imagine all of this occurring, and while all of this is occurring, I'm literally doing what I'm doing. Imagine all of this wasn't occurring. Would I be doing, would something be much more correct and true? There's no doubt about that. I think all these influences, all these effects, what type of a weird effect that's been having on me the entire time while I'm doing something. Very, 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 very wrong. And I don't want to get accustomed to this either. I don't. This is only a phase. That's how I perceive this. Okay? There's only a phase. This will pass. This too shall pass. That's all. Everything else is false. Everything that I say is false. Everything has to be known. Everything has to be understood correctly, and everything has to be known what is false because some people may mislabel or may give different definitions of people or what is false, and they may not understand everything correctly. So anywhere and anything, wherever anything and anywhere is, all has to be with truth and true direction of people changing, being aware, understanding, attaining knowledge, and moving forward with the wrong changes that they're doing. What are the wrong changes that people are doing? They're revisioning something wrong. They're thinking something wrong. They're saying the wrong word, a low vibrational mixed wrong word. They're eating something that is wrong for them, not good for you, man. You're feeling wrong. You're not supposed to be feeling wrong either. The person is doesn't understand what a choice is. The person doesn't understand what a decision is. I'm gonna break this down of what a choice and a decision is. Okay? Look, the truth of the word the truth and the decision of the word decision have something similar with one another. 1 plus 1 equals 2. This is the truth, that being the truth, and the decision and the truth being in unison with one another. Everything in this life goes to two things: the choices and the decisions we make based on our understanding. So, from the understanding, perspective, and perception, we either do two things. We either make a choice. Well, I can't say the word make because make doesn't make sense with making something. Make is to cook. You make something, you bake something, you make. Everything from a point of understanding all goes to two things: choice and decision that we do. I'm getting too bothered in the midst. There's too much bothering occurring. Even in this very moment of time, there was some type of bothering occurring earlier. A mosquito, bzzz, it was weird. Past. There's not supposed to be any form of bothering. I think there's different things of what people are doing, different levels of what they're doing. Yet what they're doing is they're not making sense. And similar to a bandwagon, they're just putting their tentacles and they're moving forward. Disaster. If you're not the basic principles, if you don't understand the basic principles, then I suggest you get to that immediately. Immediately, you understand the basic principles. I'll tell you what the basic principles are, from my understanding. After this, people have to realistically be the truth. They cannot be less than what is truth. If you're less than what is true, you cannot be in my life. You have to be true to be in my life, in other words. When I talk about true, I'm talking about something resonating and being 100% similar to a puzzle with all elements of reality. That's what I'm referring to. That is what is true. So here's part of the basic principles of what I'm explaining in terms of what is understanding. Truth and the word decision and the word choice and every single true word thereafter has to do with what is true. Okay? In other words, they're in unison with one another. They're compatible to one another. So the choice and the decision all have to do with the basis, with the foundation of understanding. If the person doesn't understand, should the person be able to make a choice and a decision? Is the question. The question is, should the person be able or be allowed to do in terms of motion, pick and choose to make it to do a decision or a choice? Why or why not? And it's something, because I'm preserving what is true. There's a choice and decision have to do with truth. Does the choice and decision have to do with what is true? So before I persist on me saying what I'm saying, I just want to say every place has to be operating with truth and true direction, with everybody being aware, understanding, changing every form of wrong that they know is wrong in terms of visions, thoughts, words, doings, food, everything, and changing, being true, attaining knowledge to be able to move forward in life and get out of the predicaments and voids and problems and situations that they may be involved in. I know I've said this before. I just wanted to say that again. So here's what this is. Let's not misunderstand something and then how people react to me and then other people react to me and then look at somebody else. And then somebody else says, oh, that person was doing this, I'll do this too. You know what I noticed? I noticed throughout the entire midst, there's various groups and various people that don't listen to anything what anybody says, just do what they do. You know what? That's a person like me. Why? Because that person understands and realizes the truth. That regardless of what anybody tells you, you have to know what the truth is. And the truth is what is good, benefit to self, life forms, and the planet. And if the truth is not beneficial to some type of a liar, I'm not going to change to lies. The lies have to change to what is truth. Because that's what makes sense. How if I think about this, imagine if everything changes to what is less than true. How is the planet going to be? I change to less than true. The other person changes to less than true. The other person changes to less than true. What's there left? That's also a disaster. Everything has to change to what is most true. Everything. When people are changing to what is most true, then something is making sense. And something else is making sense. And something else is also making sense too. Everything starts making sense. Everything. The word everything also belongs to the word truth. The word everything doesn't belong to anything less than what is true. So utilize that word correctly. Utilize that word correctly of what something is and something equals to. Everything is truth. Therefore, anytime somebody uses the word everything, they have to also be utilizing the word truth, and that goes together. In other words, does the word everything have to do with what is true? What some people are doing is they're persisting with being less than what is true in terms of what they're eating. They're trying to give me or somebody else the impression like, oh yeah, this is what is true or this is what makes sense. No. is the very problem that is going against the very nature of reality. It is the very problem that is going against the very nature of reality. There's a correct and just way to everything, and everything has to do with truth. Therefore, what is the correct and just if you haven't even changed, if you haven't even mastered the basic principles? Do you think you will understand what I'm telling you? The understanding will be something very, very less than of what is realistically the understanding. Those whom are and did master the basic principles know what I'm talking about, know what I'm saying. They understand, they know what I'm saying. Matter of fact, they are the understanding. Matter of fact, they are the answer of what I'm saying. So going back to what I was talking about, because this is also significant of what I was mentioning. This is similar to me doing what I'm doing every single day in terms of me having a conversation every single day and persisting with talking in reference to everything that I've mentioned, while everything and everyone is multiplying and growing and caring for what is true. Anything less than that people are doing the opposites, this, try and drag stupid people in the process and go there, that's not supposed to be happening. That's not supposed to be happening at all. All that needs to be reverted. Can't be happening. Not the answer, won't work, will be problematic. The very same thing that I'm trying to do and the very same thing that I'm saying for people to do have to do. Otherwise, it won't work. Will be me telling you what the answer is and you neglecting the answer. And do you think the answer will be manifested? Do you think the truth will be the way the truth is supposed to be? It won't work. People have to understand what is true and be what is true for the truth to be manifested correctly and work correctly. Otherwise, I'm saying something and people are doing something less than what is true. I'm like, what? What are you guys doing, man? Makes no sense at all, to be honest with you. And when I say it doesn't make sense at all, I'm talking about literally is not part of reality. The only reason people do that is because they possibly are put in fear. Somebody's done some type of wrong math on them. Somebody thinks that they're correct. All has to be distinguished, all has to be known, all has to be what everything is in terms of being reverted, and all has to be a puzzle piece to everything. Otherwise, nothing will work correctly. Everything will fail. Everything will fail. Everything. I'm sad. I was here in this location, and because I was so busy doing a wide variety of doings, I wasn't able to see everybody and get to know them. However, that's okay. I believe in time, everything and everyone will get to know one another based on correct measurements and correct math of how everything is and everything should be. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So there is a correct math to everything. It's just a matter of understanding everything correctly for everything to work out correctly. Remember, there's a wide variety of wrong maths that have occurred, and all of this needs to be reverted, and everything has to change according to what is true. Everything else is not working correctly. It doesn't have anything to do with reality. In other words, part of the problem of what is occurring. I know everything that I do is long. Well, that's what reality is, long. I'm not supposed to make something short. If I was false, if I was less than what was true, I'd say, yeah, you know what? That's what the answer is. However, the answer is me saying what I'm saying and something being 1 hour and 12 minutes and 5 hours and 10 hours and 100 hours and 1,000 hours and more than that of what I've done. And also, I've been mentioning something very significant for everything to change correctly. Yet some people, I don't know what they did in their minds. They're like, oh, let's make the truth seem wrong, or let's make the truth be wrong. And they even played a game with a wide variety of people to see who the heck is also thinking that, doing that. That's entertaining and doing that nonsense. You guys are false, man. You're not supposed to go around and say, oh, let's look at who else is going against truth and play this game and see what, you know, how people are thinking. No, you're not supposed to know that. People are supposed to be true. Everything's supposed to be unlearning, unbrainwashing, educating, knowledge. Everything else is a lack of understanding. Nothing to do with reality. No one's supposed to be doing that. That equals anybody that is doing that. You know what you're supposed to be doing? Anybody. Reverting everything. Taking everything backwards, going back. Doesn't make sense. Do people think I'm going to mention everything similar to this setting of everything that's going on? No, that doesn't make sense. You know what does make sense though? Is what I'm doing now, in terms of talking and just understanding relatively what's occurring. I'm noticing weird playouts having a very, very wrong effect. So this entire time, you know what happened? Everything made sense to do with everything that was true. Everything that was less than what was true didn't make sense, and people in the mix, use lie excuses to cause me issues, to cause me harm. cause people issues, cause people harm. All of that needs to be known what that is and stopped and prevented on top of something being stopped and prevented so that doesn't occur. In other words, everything needs to be known in terms of what true force is. So no nonsensers attempting to give funny ideas and partake in lies. All has to be known with what is true and abundantly known. So no one is attempting to make wrong choices, wrong decisions, nothing to do with reality. I think people did this deliberately in various elements of reality to take people away from one another. Everything and everyone is supposed to be the most resonating to least resonating with one another and live in the same space, same time, everything. Closest, nearest to furthest.